mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the turtle monk from a distant land who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Aasimar warlock sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And Gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake for mini-terrain domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain, and this is Tomb of Annihilation, Chult of Personality, episode 55. A little something I'm calling Deeper into the Depths. Hey everybody, it has been, well, it's been a minute. It's been a whole lot of minutes. It's been almost exactly a month since this crew has been together to play this game. But that's what happens as the holidays come up and everything else kind of happens. But no big deal. And hey, look at that. We come back. Fellowship of the Tables resubs for, let's see, 5 months in a row. So thank you, Fellowship of the Tables, for that. And that means you guys get another one of these. Put you up to 17 Domain Devils. The deeper we get, the more you may need these things. So yeah, thank you for the resub. Resubs, donations of $5, 500 bit cheers, raids, all that kind of stuff will earn the players domain dice. You can type domain dice in the chat at any time to get the rules of that. I'd encourage you to look down below the stream, check out all of the information tabs, particularly pay note to the Jasper's Game Day and the Initiative Coffee Company. I'm not going to elaborate on those right now because it's been so long, we just want to get into the game. But you can type as Fellowship is doing, putting all those links in the chat. Thank you so much. So you can donate to Jasper's Game Day, a wonderful organization dedicated to the prevention of and awareness of teen suicide. And the purchase of the coffee goes to benefit that as well. But I do want to take just a moment, because I've sworn that I will always promote this next little bit of message, and that is that you matter. No matter who you are, no matter where you are, just know that you matter to somebody out there. We think you're important. We're glad that you're with us, whether you're watching with us live now or you're catching this later on a VOD. Regardless of when that is or what your situation is, if you find yourself struggling, know that there are resources out there available to you that you can very easily take advantage of. The ones I'm going to point you to right now are in the United States. You can call the National Suicide Hotline 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. Or you can text 741-741. For our Canadian friends, if you would like to talk to somebody in English, you can text the word connect, or for French, you can text the word parler to 686-868, or you can call the toll-free number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, available in English and French at 1-833-456-4566. Please do not hesitate to use those resources if you need them. You can type the word help with an exclamation word. You can type the word help with an exclamation point in front of it at any time during our stream, and those numbers will come up again. Plus, I know some of our wonderful moderators and other people in chat will periodically drop that information in the chat for you. So, with that, we're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons. So, like I said, it's been a month. Everybody clearly remembers where we were and what we were doing. So, what would you like to do? I'm kidding. Nobody gave me an amused expression. None of you.
For the
All
record,
right.
you only gave us like 20 seconds to respond, so that didn't really count. But
because if I give you 30 seconds, Mike, you'll take 40. There's only so many fourth walls that can be broken. You got to save some. You got to save some for the actual session.
You got to think of the dungeon as a tesseract. So I've got at least 5 more walls I could just bend, break, and kick. So
yeah, and plus we're only thinking in the 3 dimensions. Okay, so the group has been making their way through, after a long, treacherous journey through the lands of Chult, the loss of friends and allies, the original 2 party members, Vale and Brilinya, carrying on the thread of this quest to end the death curse, picked up along the way and has been with them for quite a while and has been through a lot with them, Qualu, the best friend of Dunala, who has himself since perished in the terrific dungeon of Serac, the Lich. Along the way, they also picked up Taliel, somebody who, in her own mind, has only been in the dungeon for a couple of days, but has learned that it's been 6 months to a year since she actually entered the dungeon. Many close calls, dangerous traps, treasures picked up along the way. Several of the trickster gods have been encountered in their resting places. And through clever uses of incredible powers now at their hands as 11th level adventurers, they have managed to avoid some treacherous traps and decoys along the way. And that is how they have found themselves recently entered the 3rd level down in the Tomb of the 9 Gods, on their way to find the source of the death curse, the so-called soulmonger, supposedly kept somewhere here in the dungeon. Taliel has recently completed picked up the thread of her original adventuring party, the Company of the Yellow Banner, their quest, which was to find a way to revive the Starfallen, an ancient elven entity trapped within a lantern. Taliel, unfortunately, in picking this up, has discovered that most, if not all, of her previous adventuring party is deceased. As you enter each of these various levels of the dungeon, you have found, including before you even entered the dungeon, a Serac, perhaps taunting you, has left clues as to how to deal with the dungeon. A riddle, if you will, placed on each level on a brass plaque that gives hints as to what you may find within this level and how you may deal with it. On this floor, the most recently discovered bronze plaque had the following warning etched into its surface: walk through water with weapon in hand. Slake your shadow at the font. The vulture is the first step. Right the gods, and the walls of history tell all. Upon entering this level of the dungeon, as you have done with each successive venture, you have chosen to use the main grand staircase that descends in a spiraling fashion with a wooden banister around a narrow 5-foot balcony all the way around. You descended the northward facing stairs. You immediately found a 10-foot wide hallway to your left. About 20 feet in two alcoves, you saw 2 large shield guardians standing in between, or in these alcoves, with a chain, a spiked chain connecting them across the hallway. You could see further on down this hallway, there appeared to be a branching hallway and doors at the far end. You chose to walk around to the northern edge of the balcony, where there was another 5-foot narrow hallway, at the end of which was a stone jackal's face carved into the wall. You peered in through the wall, and you saw a familiar sight. The room that you had all dropped into previously from the second floor. A dais with a golden boat upon it, and in this golden boat, a tiny sarcophagus with frescoes of frolicking rabbits with horns on them, known as El Mirage. This you know to be the final resting place of the trickster god known as Ijin. While in this room, you also saw that in the 4 corners of the room, illuminated by ever-burning torches, were 4 sphinxes. On the eastern floor of this room, the entire floor of which is carved in hieroglyphics that look like this. If you look down below me, this is what that room looked like. There was a yellow turban-wearing dwarf, mostly skeleton in clothing, lying amidst his shield on the floor, long since dead. Taliel recognized this as being a former member of her adventuring party, the Company of the Yellow Banner. When peering through the eyes of this jackal, you found that you were actually watching the events of however long ago this happened. You watched as the stone rose up from the floor. The gold shield dwarf entered the room, and as he stepped onto one of the floor tiles, a horrible buzzing filled the room, and a swarm of insects quickly descended upon him. And only moments later, as they left him, only his skeleton remained where you found it most recently. On this floor, there is, of course, the balcony looking down, and you can begin to see even more so the 4 massive gargoyle statues that are now seem to be growing closer out of the shadow at the bottom of this long descending grand staircase. And you can begin to just make out the hazy shapes of cracked floor tiles down below. Perhaps the more noticeable feature, besides what you have already seen here, is as soon as you entered this level, and you noticed this when you fell into the hieroglyphics room previously, all along the floors, the walls, and the ceilings grows a mysterious purple fungus. And every once in a while, as you move near, you hear a slight squelching sound as eyes on stalks emerge and look around at you and then recede. And then from the ceiling, another eye will watch as you move by. You do have what you discovered is that the jackal passage to the north that you peered through into that room, let's see, it appeared to allow you to simply look through the eyes and see, or between the teeth actually, and see what was going on in the other room. But it does not appear to be a door. There is that 10-foot wide hallway with the spiked chain across it, and the shield guardians or tomb guardians to the west. And there is, all the way around to the south side, there is a 5-foot wide passage leading south, and there are stairs that descend down to the 4th level. What would you like to do?
So are we in the balcony right now?
Yes, you are on the balcony. You had, most recently, you had looked through into the past, seeing what happened to the shield dwarf. So you are kind of on the northern edge of the balcony. As a reminder, this balcony is a total of 50 feet across. So it's a 50-foot square, with the actual opening that descends down below being a 40-foot square. Also, as Jason Everjay has just subscribed, it reminds me I did not add your Dice on Ice subscription as well. So thank you for that and that. Thank you, Jason, for that. So yes, what would you like to do?
I think that Brilinya would propose that we go to the hieroglyphic floor, because we're kind of familiar with it, and maybe we could figure it out. Possibly.
I would agree with that.
So you want to attempt to make your way through to that room you're already slightly familiar with. It appears you only have 2 possible ways to go. To the west, where you saw the spiked chain pulled across the passage and the shield guardians, or the unexplored passage to the south. The jackal is simply carved in stone and does not appear to offer any way forward.
Did we look down the passage to the south?
You did not.
Well, let's do that first then, maybe.
Yep. That's a good idea.
All right. You make your way around the edge of the balcony. You can hear, as you're moving around, you hear down below the occasional skittering sounds, the heavy footfalls of distant shield guardians moving through the space. And of course, the horrors of the tomb guardians are all the more present to you, having learned how the tomb dwarves create the shield guardians, or tomb guardians. Taliel having actually seen one of her former members being turned into one of these patchwork golems. Again, eyes emerge from the purple fungus and watch your progress. As you move around to the top of the stairs that descend downward, you find yourself at the opening of this narrow hallway. It appears to go in about 20 feet, and it is a T intersection going to the west and to the east. Who's going to lead the way?
I'll do it.
I think Taliel would probably want to be in the lead as well.
Vale begins to step forward, but Taliel, without a word, just moves in front. All right. So we got Taliel. Vale, are you going to go in right behind her?
Sure, yeah.
All right, who's next? Brilinya? Qualu.
And call it at the end.
Okay.
Yep, Brilinya does not want to be last.
Okay. You move 15 feet in and you see to the west, to your right, the hallway only appears to go another 15 feet and dead ends. But there is a narrow crawlway on the northern wall. To your left, to the east, the hallway extends for another 40 or so feet, and you can just make out water and the opening into a chamber.
What do you think, Taliel? Should we Left or right?
Well, if we go left, I'm seeing water, which, if I remember correctly, the plaque said something about walking through water with our weapons in
Yes,
hand.
weapon in hand. Yeah.
So my thought is to go that way.
Okay.
So you want to move toward the water.
Yes.
All right.
I will have my weapon in hand. I'm going to put I'm going to carry my longsword at this point. Have it out and wielding.
Okay. Longsword drawn, you begin moving the 40 feet along this hallway. And you'll find yourself... let's see. You find yourself entering into a 15-foot wide hallway. This hallway extends about 40 feet where you see water flowing. Specifically, what you see are still puddles of water covering the floor of this hallway. It doesn't appear to have a lot of depth. It just appears to be standing water. The walls are slick with moisture and set with murals showing animals, or rather animal-headed humanoids in armor, most of which appear to brandish real weapons hanging on the walls. A 3-foot-high crawlway in the east wall, just across from where you entered, is flush with the floor. The far end of the hall, a rippling, transparent curtain of water fills a stone archway. Beyond the curtain, you see another hallway that looks very similar to the one in which you stand. So, just to be clear, these frescoes that are all along the wall, the mural rather, that is painted all along these walls, are various humanoids with animal heads. And if it looks like one is holding a weapon, a real weapon is mounted on the wall, made to look like it's in the hands of this thing. How would you like to proceed?
Brilinya pauses. She doesn't have a weapon, per se.
Now, I can... Let me elaborate for you what you see on this hall. Let me make sure I get these right. Goes from south to north. So, as I list these off, these are going to be, first one will be on the left, second one will be on the right. Then, further north, left, right, further north, left, right. You see a stork-headed male with hand axes. You see, then on the right side, a lizard-headed females with maces. Sorry, not just one, but there's multiples. Then, again on the left, further north, panther-headed males with blowguns. On the right, unarmed, hawk-headed females. On the left, goat-headed males with sickles. And on the right, frog-headed females with tridents. Let me see if I can do this. Let me get rid of this. I'm going to paste this into our side chat. I just got to remove some of the TM notes that are in here. There you go. It's in our side chat. So you can clearly see, again, from top to bottom, that goes left, right, left, right, left, right, from closest to you to closest to the curtain of water to the north. How would you like to proceed?
Well, I
Someone-
think,
Oh, sorry.
sorry. Well, I mean, definitely have weapon drawn. And just ask the rest of the group, do you have this feeling that they're going to come to life? So just have a feeling they're going to come to life. We're going to have to fight them.
I have that feeling, but also that maybe, are we supposed to take those weapons through the water?
Qualu wonders what life really means. If something comes to life, what is a thing before it has come to life?
Oh,
What's-
I see. We're playing word games. All right, fine. I mean, like, gain,
I play
I don't
no
know,
game.
animate and start fighting.
I'm not playing a game. I'm here with my friends, exploring a dungeon. This is not a game.
You know, all I've got to say is you're lucky that I'm having pancakes right now, because if not, I'd reach through this and slap you all the way out bloody dungeon.
He's just mad that you broke the fourth wall.
Pretty much, yeah. But
Be best not to break any walls here. The water might flood.
aha. So my thought is this. Then maybe you make a really good point, Taliel. Maybe we should be taking these weapons. But I think one of us should approach it first. I'll do it.
I could go first. That's okay.
You sure? You feeling up to it?
I'm up to it. I'm afraid that, well, I'd rather you stay with these two in case they do come to life, because
I know they need all the help they can get.
yes, that's what I was going to say.
But sure. Well, if you need anything, we're right here, right?
Mm-hmm. And with that,
I want to
think-
correct something. I want to retcon this a little bit.
Okay.
I misled you because I'm partially dyslexic, and so left and right gives me trouble. These are not left to right, north to south. They are north to south. So the stork-headed males with hand axes are on both the left and right side. Then the lizard-headed females with the maces. Then the panther-headed males with the blowguns. The unarmed hawk-headed females. The goat-headed males with sickles. And the frog-headed females with tridents. So each one of those animal-headed humans of a kind are on either side. Makes it easier to follow what's where than trying to remember left and right. So you've got the weapons on the walls, except for the hawk-headed females that have no weapons. The curtain of water, and there is the floor-level crawlway that is across from where you entered.
So Taliel will start going down the hallway. And as she's going by the unarmed hawk-headed females, I'd like to take a closer look to see if there is a spot that maybe a weapon is supposed to be in.
All right, give me an investigation check.
Okay. Yeah. So that'll be a 13.
You do see, I mean, it looks for all intents and purposes like a weapon could go there. There just isn't one.
Okay. I have 2 daggers. I would like to put one in the hands on either side.
All right. You reach up to place the dagger into the hands of one of the hawk-headed females. As you do so, your hand and the dagger passes through the illusory wall. And it just vanishes. Nothing happens. You just feel a space behind there. You don't feel even the wall. There's nothing there. It just looks like something's there.
Did you guys see that?
You can all clearly see her hand through the wall.
Good find. You hurt, though. You were right.
I feel fine. Can I take my hand back? Or is it
Yes.
stuck there?
Yep, you pull your hand back.
And it's just a stump.
It felt like a pretty big space behind there, too.
I did not know you were so strong, punching through a wall like that. You made it look easy, as if you just merely tapped it with your hand, and it just slid through as if there was nothing there.
There is nothing there.
Well, obviously, now that you've punched a hole in it, you're right.
I'm going to point to his head and say, there's nothing in there either.
This wall, this section is just an illusion. At that, Taliel will go back towards everybody. I guess what's the one before it? The panther-headed males?
Yes, with blowguns.
Yeah, and reach out to touch that mural to see if it is real.
It is solid, cool, wet stone, and for a moment the blowgun rattles in its on the hooks that hold it, showing that it is real and it is attached just loosely in these hooks.
All right. Taliel's going to go back to where those hawk-headed, where she put her hand through the wall, really. And with dagger in one hand, longsword in the other, I'm going to pass through the wall.
You do so, and when you do so, you almost walk into a stone plinth. Like as soon as you step in, there's a stone plinth in front of you. It is about 4 feet high. And on this plinth is sitting in a slight depression, is a 1-inch diameter pale purple eyeball. It is made of crystal.
Yep, dagger gets sheathed, and I'm going to reach out to grab the eyeball.
You reach out and touch this crystal eyeball, lifting it carefully from the plinth. And you now have a pale purple crystal eyeball in your possession. You'll have to add that as a, write it down or add it as a custom item. What it is and what it does, you do not yet know. There's nothing else of note in this small alcove. It's literally a 8-foot tall, 5-foot wide, 5-foot deep alcove with this single plinth.
Okay, yeah, so once that is grabbed and nothing like rattles or shakes or jumps out at me, I'll pocket the eyeball and step back into the hallway.
Okay. Taliel disappears for a moment and reappears, unharmed, unscathed.
Was there anything back there?
Yes. It was sitting there on top of this stone, and she'll pull out the pale purple eyeball and show Brilinya.
And you just picked it up?
It seemed like the right thing to do at the time.
Right.
Nothing seemed to have happened. I didn't feel any tremors or, well, nothing.
Any
really.
voices in your head?
Nothing. It's just an eyeball. It's kind of, if it wasn't so damn creepy, it would probably be, kind of pretty, but do you know what it is? Have you seen anything like it before?
I'm assuming no.
Well, this is brand new. None of you have ever seen any indication of this.
No, nothing like that.
Well, until we know more about it, I'm just gonna put it away, and she'll re-pocket it back into like the folds of her clothing.
All right.
The other side of the hawk-headed females, was that one also? She'll go back and try the other side of the hallway.
So that was on the east side. You're going to go to the west side to the other hawk-headed female.
Yeah, and see if there is a wall there.
It feels like solid wall.
Interesting. All right. Well, I don't think we're supposed to put anything in their hands because, well, the other side's not really real. So be prepared. I'm going to go through the water at the end. And with longsword in hand, she will head, I guess, down through that water.
Before she goes, Brilinya yells, "Could you hand me one of those daggers?"
Oh, yes.
She does not have a weapon. Something to hold.
Yeah, she'll give you the dagger, one of the daggers she has. For sure.
You're in a room full of weapons on the walls. You're asking your friend for a dagger.
I'm not going to touch those. There's going to be some sort of trap where...
All right. So you head to the curtain of water. As you step towards it, it's shimmery. It is a very, it almost looks like it's flowing, but it's not. If it were flowing, it would be what they call a laminar flow, where there's no water, no air causing ripples and bubbles. It's just this slightly shimmery look. And you do see, looking through it now that you're up close, you see that, though you can't quite make out what their shapes are, the opposite side of this room appears to be, appears to be a mirror image of the room you are in, complete with the crawlway on the far side on the east and the same alcove entryway on the west. Longsword in hand, you step forward. Your longsword begins to pierce this shimmering curtain of water. As you step into it, you sense the thickness of the water. For a moment, it's as if you've submerged yourself in a pool of water. There is a sudden eruption of water from this archway, and I need everybody to make a strength saving throw. As the entire curtain of water explodes outward to the south into the room you are in.
I got a 23. Sorry, 25.
All right.
I got a 7.
I got a 5 on the die, so that's a 2.
All right.
I got a 24.
Taliel and Qualu, you will take half damage, and you will hold your ground. Taliel, you're pushed back about 2 feet, and you manage to stay on your feet. Vale and Brilinya will take full damage, and you will be knocked prone and thrown to the far southern wall. The total bludgeoning damage is 15, 8 for Taliel and Qualu. As the water bursts into the room and pushes you all and sends Vale and Brilinya tumbling, it almost instantly, it doesn't like continue to flow. It's just a sudden burst of a wave. And as it spills, it begins to flow out that crawlway at the edge and just sort of begins to, almost seems to like just seep into the stone around you, leaving the standing pools of water. And you are all now completely soaked.
So I have resistance to damage dealt by traps.
So you will take a total of 4 points of damage from
okay.
that, because that is indeed a trap. All right. How would you like to proceed?
So the wall of water is gone now.
Nope,
it's
still there.
Oh, it's still there?
It just burst outward, and there's a moment, because you're standing there, you see it as it erupts in your face, throwing your hair back, and you kind of get shoved backwards a couple feet, but you plant your feet and hold your ground, and you see as the water just sort of goes, it's like somebody had thrown a stone into a still pool of water, and the ripples begin to subside, and after just a moment, you are once again looking at a slightly shimmery, still curtain of water.
Taliel would turn back to the others and see that Vale and Brilinya took the brunt of that and are on the ground. Well, that didn't seem to work. I certainly didn't walk through it, though my weapon was in hand. Are you guys okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
I can try again, but I'm afraid that we could just have the same reaction.
Well, maybe we do have to take these weapons off the wall. Go walk in with them.
Or put the one on the real unarmed hawk.
It's possible as well. I'll tell you what, and I'll go over to the first set of statues, and grab one of the hand axes.
All right.
First, I'm going to inspect it to see if there's any, anything. Any sort of like possible traps or possible something, and then just kind of very slowly start to pull it and see if it comes out of the stork-headed guy's kung fu grip.
Yeah, sure. So it's not a statue. It's a painting on the wall.
Oh, sorry.
I just wanted to make sure, just so we have the visual clearly in your head. Give me an investigation check.
All right. Oh, wait. Do I suck at investigation? I do. Cool. Let's do this. Okay. It's 15. I mean, it's not awful.
So you don't see anything that looks like there's any kind of trap. The only thing other than the paint on the wall of these murals is, and it's actually not even paint. It's more like the entire wall is done in like tile, like a glazed tile. And it appears that the tiles themselves were painted, and then there's this sort of clear glaze over it, so they hold their brilliance. And then from out of those tiles emerges these, like for the hand axes, and you saw it for the blowguns and every other one, there's almost like a ring loop and another piece of metal that sort of catches it, that holds these weapons in place as the water comes whelming into the room. So you're able to just reach up and grab the hand axe and slide it out, and you now have a hand axe.
Right. I'm going to go walking towards the water. All of you brace yourselves, or maybe even get into another room or something. I'm going to walk into the water. If something bad happens, at least hopefully you'll all be safe. Let's give that a shot. Then.
All right, so with that warning, does anybody move? You brace yourselves. Where are you going? What are you doing?
Taliel's going to stand right there behind Vale, almost to like help brace him in case he doesn't go through and that the same thing happens. She's prepared this time and is kind of definitely bracing for that whoosh of water.
All right.
Brilinya is going to be hiding around the corner.
Taliel, you get saving throw or advantage on saves versus traps too, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Okay. So Brilinya's going around the corner. Taliel's bracing herself. Qualu's
going to watch. Stand there, kind of just watch him. He'll brace himself, sure, for the inevitable splash party, but...
All right. Vale, hand axe in hand. You march towards this shimmery water. You watch as the head of the axe plunges into the water, followed a split second later by your face. And for a moment, all sound goes away as your ears are engulfed by this water. And then... And I need strength saving throws from everybody as another blast of wave bursts into the room. And yes, advantage for Taliel.
19 for Qualu.
Qualu saves.
24 again for Taliel.
Save.
14.
Fail.
Do I need to make it?
No, you were out of the room, so you're good. Vale, you will take 14 points of bludgeoning damage, be knocked back into the room prone. Qualu, you will take 7 points of bludgeoning damage, and you manage to stay up. And Taliel, you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage and also stay up.
Well, that didn't work.
There's still 4 more weapons on the walls.
It didn't work. Very good.
Want to try that one instead?
Go for it.
You. I said you.
No, you go right ahead, Qualu.
You've been stinkier the past bit. This bath has been good for you.
I'm gonna stab him. Don't know when.
How about we put that hand axe back? I will put a dagger in the hawk-headed female, and we'll try again. I mean, you could. How does Vale looking? Does he look? I mean, besides soaked and a little bit clean.
Right. I mean, hurt, waterlogged.
Kind of like a wet rat, but
yeah.
I'd say, I mean, Vale's probably looking still pretty hardy.
Pretty.
He can take a few more hits.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
And we could try this again.
Maybe we should each try a different weapon. Aren't there 4 weapons left for us to try? Right?
There's maces, blowguns, sickles, and tridents. Oh my.
We could each try one, and then it'll only do one more. Maybe? Brilinya yells from behind the corner.
Bye, hero.
Maybe one of them will work. Maybe all of them will work. Maybe it's just it won't let Vale through. Who knows? But we can't figure this out until we try.
I want to look
Go
at
for
that
it.
hawk-headed woman again, that female, the one that's not the illusionary passage, but does it still have that like that chain, like the other ones have too, as if a weapon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me, as you're investigating this, and you've spent more time than anybody looking at these hawk-headed statues, give me a perception check.
Apparently that die does not want to roll. That is a total of 8.
All right. An 8 is all you got, so that's good. Karen's not
Domain
looking.
dice.
As I'm going, Karen, I was going like this. An 8
Oh,
is all
domain
you
dice.
got. You guys got 19 domain dice, and you're failing a lot of saving throws. So.
Okay, let's do it. I'll use a domain die.
I mean, it is up to you to use
Did I
them,
freeze?
but
Uh-oh.
no. You're good. Can you still hear me, Kaeren? Uh-oh. Did I freeze? All right, hold on. I may have frozen. Okay, the stream appears to still be active. Okay, can you guys all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, they said that the chat saying that you all froze and all of your chat crashed, I guess, but mine kept
My
going.
Zoom crashed.
I crashed. Okay,
Yeah,
I thought
I
it was just me
crashed
that's
too.
crashing.
No, I heard
Yeah, I
Kaeren
crashed.
say, "Did I freeze?" And I thought because Kaeren had that recently in a different game where just hers froze up. So let's go ahead and get you, Connor. You're good. You're
Oops.
well, you were.
I tried to fix. Nope.
You were good. All right, everybody,
I
turn your.
was.
Wait, no. I have to figure out the right order here.
Let's just all do it randomly, and then we'll eventually get it right. Just like this trap
Isn't
that
it-
we're facing.
Isn't it Connor, me, Karen, Mike?
No, it's
No.
Oh.
Connor, Kaeren, Megan, Mike.
Oh.
So everybody off. Then Connor, you're good. Kaeren, Megan, Mike. Okay, so what was the last thing you heard me say? You were going to use a domain dice.
I was going to use a domain dice, yeah.
Okay, you're using a
Okay.
domain die. All right, that was a weird hiccup. I thought it was going to affect the whole. Yeah, Fellowship says cue the Benny Hill music.
Yeah, so it's only slightly better this time. It's an 11 now.
All right,
No,
that's
I did
enough.
my math
That's
wrong.
enough. This was not
Yeah,
a high
11.
DC. This is a visual thing. As you've been looking at these, and you've kind of moved back to these a couple times, and you've been standing next to the frog-headed females with tridents, which are closest to the curtain. Of all of the stats, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word when somebody's standing a certain way. Stance. Of all of the stances of these painted figures, they're all varied as they hold their various weapons. However, the hawk-headed females are in the same stance as the frog-headed males, or excuse me, frog-headed females that are holding tridents. Same hand positions, same foot positions, and same weapon holding positions.
Does anybody have a trident? I don't have a trident.
Are they holding tridents?
The frog-headed females are holding tridents. There's 2 tridents in this room.
Yeah, I will grab one from I guess the side that had the illusionary wall. I will grab that trident and put it on the hawk-headed female.
Everybody
On the
roll a
non-woman.
perception check.
Oh dear. Oh, that's better. 21.
18.
Sorry, 22.
16.
Like 5. It's okay.
Taliel, you notice as you pull this trident off of the wall from the mount, and you turn. As you turn, you watch the curtain of water seems to almost like a magnet when two poles that suddenly I forget how magnets work. Two like poles. Connor's judging me now. Two like poles. When two magnets of like poles are pushed together, the trident seems to repel the water a little bit from the curtain. You notice as you move past it, the water seems to go.
Okay, so instead of putting this trident on that hawk-headed female, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to push towards the water itself.
Push the trident or walk towards it holding the trident?
I'm going to walk towards the water with the trident in front of me.
As you
like
do
kind of-
so, like this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, whatever. Yeah. Is that kind of how the stance that they were holding
Well,
it?
no, they were more in a stance like this kind of thing, but regardless, as you move towards it, the water seems to move away and allows you to pass through, and you pass the halfway point without a wave washing into the room.
Aha, it is the frog, the creature that lives in the water, of course. Quali would exclaim, as if he had the revelation 5 seconds a little bit too late.
Taliel, you immediately, now being able to see on the other side, you see the exact same paintings on the walls in the opposite direction, as if a mirror image holding the exact same weapon. So there are two more frog-headed females holding tridents on this side. And there's one more trident on the other side. You all see as Taliel passes through the water with no problem, holding the trident.
I would like to, at this point, then grab those other two tridents on the other side, come back to where the party is, and hand them off to them.
You do so. Taliel comes through the curtain that parts as she walks through, holding a bundle of tridents now, holding 3 tridents. So for 4 of you, there are 4 tridents. And taking those up, you are able all to pass through the curtain of water into the northern chamber, which, as I said, is a reflection of this chamber. You see the same figures, including the weaponless hawk-headed females. You see the same crawlway on the floor to the east, and you see the same walkway to the west in the northwest corner. How would you like to proceed?
I would like to go to the hawk-headed woman. I guess, what was it on the
And the east wall?
east wall? The one that was not, was just illusionary on the other side. I'd like to see if this room also has an illusionary hawk-headed female.
You walk up to it, and you reach out to it, and your hand passes through the illusory wall.
I will follow my hand.
You step in to this next room, and you see exactly what you're expecting, with one slight variation. As you step in, there is the same 4-foot stone plinth with the indentation in the top. There is a crystal eye, 1 inch in diameter, but this one is a bright green color.
Really, with no hesitation, Taliel is going to reach out to grab that crystal eyeball.
All right. You now have 2 crystal eyeballs, one purple and one green.
I will come back out and show everybody.
Hey, everybody, look what I found.
I got googly eyes.
Hat 4 eyes. Sorry, so bad.
Wait. I take offense at that. I do not. All right. How would you like to proceed? There's a crawlway, and there is a regular-sized passage, 5 foot wide. You can see, anybody looking at it, you can see it goes in just 10 feet and then heads to the north. You see the same purple fungus growing along the walls and floor. What you gonna do?
Can I see one of those eyes, Taliel?
And yeah, she'll hold out actually both of them so he can look at either one.
And I kind of want to examine it, but I want to kind of turn it so like the actual iris and that is pointed out. I want to look like from behind the eye. I kind of want to like see if I can look through it.
Okay. You do so. As you do so, you see the room and all of your friends appear to be upside down. Just a trick of the glass as you look through it. Nothing else spectacular happens. Depending on which eye you're looking through, it might be slightly tinted purple or green.
Okay. So it doesn't really seem like there's anything to this at all. Can't really notice any sort of like arcane sigildry on it or
no
anything.
Sigils. Nothing stands out through mundane methods. Of course, you would have to use a detect magic to determine true magical properties, if there were any, but nothing significant other than the fact that they're very finely crafted crystal eyes.
Okay. I hand them back. I'll just say that, well, I thought maybe there was more to it. Thought there was maybe more to this place, but there's always more to this place, isn't there?
Always. It's never what we think.
I think we should probably head down the walkway. I guess we could take a look at the crawl space, but I don't think the crawl space is going to be much good.
Qualu would not be able to maneuver through the crawl space.
Well, it doesn't really matter. He could starve to death and die for all we care, but you know, you could always make another character, to be honest. Be what, his 4th one now?
All right.
You can't beat the master at 4th wall bending. Okay? First there was the air benders and the water benders and the earth benders, and then there's the wall benders, and that's this guy.
I think I'm just upset more because I think that Jake just called Qualu fat.
No, it's because you're a thick
calling
boy.
Qualu muscular. Isn't he like 7 feet tall and broad-shouldered?
He's a thick boy.
No, he's like 4 feet tall. I don't know what you use it, man. Jeez.
Exactly, and
No,
you
I'm
know,
kidding.
I was projecting.
you
I was
can't
projecting
sneak-
myself
you can't
on the
sneak
Qualu.
through it.
There we
Every
go.
time every time he tries to tiptoe, the clap of his ass cheeks just, gives us
Learning the
all away.
bees,
I mean,
yeah. Kept learning the guards.
All right, so what are you doing?
I think I like the idea of going on the walkway, not the crawl space.
I concur.
All right, so you're heading down the walkway. Who was in the lead? Brilinya? Or Taliel?
Taliel will continue unless Vale pushes past her. Otherwise,
Talinya. But thanks. Thanks, Connor. Always keeping things clear. All right. So, you begin walking along this narrow hallway for about 15 feet. At 15 feet, you see immediately to your right a small alcove and a door. 10 feet ahead of you, you see that there appears to be a 6-inch diameter peephole cut into the west wall. Just past that peephole, the passage turns to the left.
So I get this right. The peephole is on the opposite side of the hallway as the alcove and door?
Yes, but it is also 10 feet further down.
Further down.
So the closest thing to you right now is an alcove and a door.
I will stop at the door and look back at the party. Kind of indicating that there's a door here, and I don't want to say anything in case there's somebody behind it. But I'm indicating there's a door here and kind of looking at them whether they want me to go through or at Brilinya's nod, I think
I think Brilinya would quickly just go to the other side of the door so that they can have someone on either side to karate chop in or something.
Sounds good. And I will try to open it if it is not locked.
Okay. You enter, or rather open a door into a 15-foot by 15-foot room. This chamber contains a stone font filled with a streaming green liquid. Beyond it, a shadowy figure stands at an open door on the far side of the room. The figure's back is toward you. What you gonna do?
Gonna be real quiet. This figure, how tall is it?
It appears to be the same height as you. It appears to have the same color hair as you.
I hold up, very quiet, I hold up my left hand.
The figure standing at the other door holds up its left hand at exactly the same time you do.
I don't like this.
You see that the green liquid in the font, now that you've got a kind of can see into the room a little bit better, it looks to be some kind of soup. It seems to be a giant font full of soup.
I think at this point I'm going to back out and close the door.
As you begin to back out, the shadowy figure begins to move backwards, walking closer to this font.
Oh, okay, that's okay. I turn to Brilinya, she's right there, right? And I whisper, slake, is it slake your thirst? Slake your shadow. I had it. Slake your shadow at the font.
Yes.
So,
By the way, because I'm always terrible about this, I'm going to award all of you inspiration because you guys have been doing a phenomenal job of keeping track of the warnings and remembering them when they apply. As a group, you guys have done a really good job of keeping an eye on these warnings, and more than once you've recalled when something seems to apply. So all of you can take a point of inspiration right now.
Thank you.
3.
Taliel is going to continue to back up.
At a certain point, as you back up, let me just double check this. As you back up 5 feet, the shadow backs up right to the font. Its back is directly in front of, or it's directly adjacent to this font of what appears to be soup, standing right next to it.
I think Brilinya is going to peek in.
If you move any further back, it actually seems like it seems to be clipping into it a little bit, like it's starting to pass through, indicating that the shadow does not appear to be a solid entity.
I think I'm going to like turn around, like in spot there, turn around and then bend my head downwards so that what I'm thinking, that if what I'm thinking is correct, that the shadow will turn around and bend its head in towards the font.
So you turn around. Who's looking in the room? Brilinya? As Taliel, as you turn around and face Brilinya, beyond Taliel, you see the shadow turn around. As it does so, you see not Taliel's face, but you see a face twisted in terrible horror and pain, screaming silently. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh no. Ooh, that's a nat 20.
Are you immune to fear?
I am not.
Okay. But you do succeed. You feel fear begin to, like a cold energy washes over you. But you have seen far worse horrors since you've come to the land of Chult. And it does not affect you. Taliel, you had already said you were starting to bend down. What were you doing as you turned around?
So I would have turned around and like bend down as if I was drinking from a fountain in front of me, which there isn't, but my thought was that as I did so, that my shadow in the other room would follow me in doing the same motion.
So you're pantomiming drinking.
Yeah.
You see, Brilinya, over Taliel's shoulder, this shadow bends down and begins noiselessly slurping the soup out of the font.
Does it look like the font is going down?
It is, in fact, going down.
Ooh. So I think whispering, Brilinya would turn over to Taliel and the others and just, it's working.
Tell me when I can stop. And I'll continue to do the motion.
So you're going to continue until it stops. So it takes a total of just a little bit under a minute as this entire font begins to drain. And then you see, though the illusory, or rather the shadow form of Taliel is still bent over, you see the greenish cast of the so-called soup has gone away, Brilinya, and it appears to be empty.
So you said the shadow wasn't gone? It was still there?
The shadow has not gone anywhere. It's still pantomiming what Taliel was doing.
Okay. Brilinya is going to ask Taliel to turn around so that she doesn't have to see that horrifying face. But then Brilinya is going to cautiously approach the font to look inside, see if anything's at the bottom.
You step into the room, perhaps hesitantly glancing at this figure that looks like Taliel but is not Taliel, stands mere feet away from you. You yeah, this reeks heavily of a certain Horcrux in the presentation of it, which is perhaps why you solved it so quickly. But as you look down, Brilinya, into this now empty font, you see a single iridescent orange crystal eye, 1 inch in diameter, at the bottom. It's just sitting there. It's not held in place by anything.
Brilinya is going to reach in and grab the eye.
As you grab the eye and remove it from the font, there is a sound, and the shadow form of Taliel dissipates. And you now have an iridescent orange crystal eye. And that is where we are going to take our break. Congratulations on the very quick thinking on that puzzle. That was way fast. I had no idea what was going to happen. You guys were struggling with the noticeably challenging water curtain puzzle. So this one, like I said, maybe because it echoes of a certain Horcrux challenge, maybe that's why you figured it out. Or you're just really darn smart. So I don't want to undermine you. But great thinking. So yeah, and you do still have that peephole in the passage that continues around. Things that you typically only hear in D&D. Now that you've finished your soup, you may continue on after the break. All right, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break. And yeah, thank you everybody who's tuned in so far. Stick around. We'll be back in just a few minutes. And we're back. All right. You made quick work of that mysterious bowl of soup, or pot full of soup in the dungeon, making this horrific visaged shadow consume the illusory soup inside. And in doing so, found another crystal eye, this one of an iridescent orange color. Brilinya picked it up, at which point the shadow disappeared. You can now see through the open door on the other side of the room that there is just a 5-foot by 10-foot stone chamber where this shadow image resided until apparently somebody opened the door. There is nothing else of note in this room. You have the way you came with the water curtain room, and you have 10 foot to the north is that peephole in the wall, and then just past that, the hallway does turn to the west. How would you like to proceed?
I will go ahead towards the peephole unless somebody else would rather look through it. No, they're shaking it.
I'll do it. I'll go look through the peephole.
All right. Vale very quickly volunteers to peep through the hole. All right. You see that it's just right about, for all of you being of average height. Vale, how tall are you as a half-elf?
I'd say about 5'8", average.
You have to stand on your tiptoes, actually, to look through this. It's 6 feet off the ground. But you are able to see through. There appears to be a tube, a circular tube, 6 inches in diameter, cut through the stone for 5 feet. You see, as you look through it, that there is a... Where did it go? You see that there are there appear to be some kind of glass lenses inserted inside this hole that are causing you to look at the stone that is across a gap on the other side of this wall. You're seeing very detailed stonework, as if it has been magnified several times. But the center of your vision as you look through this is allowing you to see a gold medallion and a hieroglyph visible on a dial behind it.
Would I ever possibly know what that hieroglyph is? Or would I know anything about it?
Let's see. You actually can see. Sorry. You see the hieroglyph that is visible on this medallion is a vulture. On the medallion, this gold medallion, it is 6 inches in diameter. There's a gold disc engraved with the face of a horned devil, and its mouth is agape. And this vulture that you see appears at a slightly deeper depth, etched into clay, and is visible through the open mouth of this demon.
So, sorry, there was a what? Etched into his open mouth?
No, so basically the medallion is one of the green devil faces etched into gold.
Right.
And its mouth is actually a hole. And think of it like a decoder disc. So there's like the gold medallion is in the front, and then behind it is a clay disc that has a vulture etched invisible.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll relay that to everyone else. Maybe there's some way to open the door. Take a quick gander around the door. Now, is there like a handle, or is there like a latch, or is there something?
You'd have to actually walk around, because all you can see through this peephole is the medallion. It fills the entirety of the view.
Right.
So you're going to kind of peek around the edge and take a closer look at this?
Yeah, I think it will.
Okay. So as you come around, you see that there is a block of stone on which there is painted a 7-foot-tall jackal-headed humanoid with a circular gold medallion around its neck. All around the figure are carvings of locusts. And the direction you have moved and traversed through the dungeon so far, you get a sense that you may actually be on the entrance side of the hieroglyphic floor room. And you said you were going to take a closer look at this door, looking for handles or anything?
Yeah.
As you're looking at this 7-foot-tall statue with all these locusts around it, they all seem to be etched into it. But one of them actually appears to be raised up. Like, instead of being etched into the stone, it stands out a little bit. And there's a little bit of a space around it. It looks as if it may be some sort of button that could be pressed.
All right. I'll keep that on the back burner. Looking at the medallion, does it look like there's a trap or any sort of like magically activated thing? If I take this off, is it going to explode? And
so you're looking at possibly removing the gold medallion?
Correct, yeah.
Give me an investigation check. Because you're good at those.
Yeah. Oh, natural 18 on the die.
All right. So, looking closely at it and kind of, it doesn't look like there's any triggering mechanisms or anything like that, but you find that this gold medallion appears to be firmly affixed, possibly through magical means, to this stone block.
I'll call the rest of them over and kind of point it out. After pointing everything out, including that raise locust button, which may or may not open that door, because just because it's there doesn't mean it does the thing we want it to do.
You also, as you were investigating that with that 18, you can see, though you don't see the method by which it would move, you can see a little bit closer that the clay disc that's behind the medallion and visible through the open mouth of the carved demon head does look like it may be something that could move or rotate, though you just can't see the means by which that could happen.
Okay.
Is anybody else, now that Vale has gone over there, is anybody else looking through the peephole? Qualu's like, nope.
Taliel would if she could. I imagine she's probably slightly shorter than Vale.
Okay. You have to kind of strain stepping up on your tiptoes, but you look through and you see the same thing, the magnified view of this medallion with the vulture visible behind it. And it's ever so faint and ghostly. But as you're looking through this, you feel as if your mind is reaching towards the room on the other side. You can visualize your fallen dwarf companion. And it's as if your mind, you feel as if you could speak out mentally. And if he were alive, your companion could possibly hear you. There seems to be some telepathic connection through this peephole to the room beyond.
Vale, he's standing around at the door, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's close enough that you can hear around it's literally around, like walking around a stone partition.
Try going in, because I think I might have a feeling that maybe somebody has to be outside looking at this through this peephole while somebody goes inside and follows the instructions.
That's my thought as well. It says the vulture was the first, right?
Yeah.
All right. Sure. All right, let's do this.
Whoever will go, I will go with them to guard their back. Make sure that nothing pursues them.
All right, well, that's fair.
Just don't step on anything that you shouldn't.
As a reminder, I've just brought up the image on the floor here. As a reminder, in our private chat, I think Mike reshared the image recently. So you all can reference that to get a clear view of the tiles that are on the floor. Okay, so Vale, you're gonna press the button and see if the door opens.
I assume there doesn't seem to be any other way to open the door.
Nothing that you've been able to spot.
All right. I'll press the button.
Okay.
Saving throw ready.
1 second. I'm just checking. Just checking something. Okay. Yes, you press the button. It resists. You have to kind of press it hard. And you hear a... as the stone block rises up into the ceiling.
Well, that seemed overly dramatic.
Revealing passage into the hieroglyph room.
All right. Take the lead.
You step forward into the room.
And I'll step right onto the vulture.
As you step onto the vulture,
I'll look behind and say, well, so much for Qualu.
The stone block drops down, leaving Vale. You are alone in the hieroglyphic room. There is the remains of a gold dwarf on the floor in front of you, standing on a tile that you can just make out appears to be a foot. Meanwhile, Taliel, looking through this peephole, as the stone block drops down, blocking Vale from view, the medallion centers in your view, and you see the clay disc shifts and a new hieroglyph is visible. And you hear, or rather you sense, while you are looking through this, your mind suddenly shifts and you feel telepathically you can sense Vale inside this room. And the view that you now see is that of a serpent.
Taliel will kind of say out loud as well as try to think it. Vale, can you hear me?
Red room? Hello?
You, in fact, telepathically are linked. Vale, you can hear Taliel. Taliel, you can hear Vale.
I'm not sure what red rum is, except it sounds delicious, but serpent is the next.
Serpent. I'll just have a quick look around. I will see the tile to the diagonal.
Yep.
Left, and I'll just hop right onto it.
Vale hops, bypassing the dead dwarf, and steps on the serpent tile. Taliel, you watch as the dial shifts again, revealing the hieroglyph of a door.
And Taliel will think again about you still with me?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not dead yet.
It's now door.
What?
The hieroglyph, it's a door.
Oh, right. That was just really weird. Okay. And I'll go diagonal down and left to the door.
Again. Shkum. The dial shifts, revealing a reed.
It's now a reed. And when we say reed, it's the one like with the three, like it looks like a plant with the three heads on it.
That's what it looks like to you, yes.
Yeah. So she'll say the word reed and also kind of try to imagine that picture.
Okay.
Yep, and I will hop down.
Shkum. The next is Scarab.
Oh, I.
Scarab.
Okay. And I'm going to go upper, like to the, so I'm the bottom furthest right reed. I'm going to go diagonal up and to the left, the upper, that scarab, not the one directly in front.
Okay.
And then from there, I'm going to hop onto the staircase.
Okay. Let me just check something.
That was a mistake.
Okay. Taliel, you see that the next shape is Scepter. However, Vale, you have stepped up safely onto the dais, where you have been previously. Now in front of you, you see very clearly the golden barge with the small golden sarcophagus decorated with horned rabbits.
Now, we already opened this guy up, didn't we?
You did not. You guys got scared and you left.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Can't think of why. All right, then I'm going to open it up.
The lid does not budge.
Of course it doesn't. All right. Okay. Well, the lid doesn't move. So now what?
Well, the medallion's showing Scepter.
Right. Okay. Then I'll have to, I'll look around, and then I guess the closest scepter is the one that is the upper right diagonal from the staircase.
Okay.
That's the one I could probably reach.
Yeah, so you can step diagonally without a problem onto that tile.
I'll hop onto that one.
Shakum. Taliel, you see now a foot.
Foot.
Okay. Let's take one step to the left or forward.
Shakum. Urn.
Urn. Oh no.
Okay. And I'll step up to the urn one.
Okay. As that happens, Taliel, you see vulture. Vale, you hear from the sarcophagus. But there is a 5-foot gap between you and the dais.
Is the door open?
The door has not opened.
Okay. Well, then I am going to... man, if I step on that vulture one, I tell you.
Yeah, jump.
Yeah, so
Jump.
I will do just that.
Oh,
So
wait,
I'm going to run
my apologies. The passage, the stone door passage. So let me back up a second to the point where you stepped on the urn.
Yep.
Taliel, you did see the dial reset. And then all of you watch as the stone rises up. Vale, all around the room, the hieroglyphic floor, the tiles go all around. You just hear this sequential clattering as every tile drops about a quarter of an inch. Then you hear the as the lid to the sarcophagus has opened.
Do we hear the door open from the other side?
Yeah, you guys, it's literally just around the corner from the peephole.
Okay.
And Qualu, you were standing right there because you had intended to go in the room with them. And you can now see.
Am I dead?
Yes.
Uh,
You have perished. Your soul is now relinquished to the
I must be
place.
Well, I must be an Avernus if I have to see your ugly mug for eternity.
I will remind you, because you guys did try to do one thing. You did try to pick up the sarcophagus when you were in here before. And when you did so, you were surrounded by force walls leading all the way up to the ceiling. And that's when you said, nope, set it down and left. So you do know that.
So should Qualu just triapse into here now that the trap has been disabled by your puzzle antics?
Are you asking that, or are you actually traipsing in?
I'm asking that.
To whom?
The rest of the party.
I think Brilinya would go in very carefully at first.
Now, Brilinya's had her eye on this. Brilinya, you step in on the vulture tile, and nothing happens.
Yeah, Taliel is staying by the medallion in the peephole, watching and listening, I guess, to Vale.
You have no telepathic connection to Vale anymore. And I would even go so far as to say, because of your connection to traps, I would like you to make a insight check with advantage.
So that'll be a dirty 20.
You get a sense that through what you did, though you don't know for how long, this trap has been disabled.
Okay. At that, I will run around the corner to where the door opened, and I will say, I'll tell them just that. The trap's been disabled, but I don't know how long. Let's hurry.
So then I think Brilinya would, at that, rush to the coffin.
All right. Once again, you can tell that this golden sarcophagus, which only seems, from your previous knowledge, only weighed about 75 pounds, does look to be worth about 7,500 gold pieces if you could somehow deal with it. But you're going to go ahead and open it. Brilinya, as you open it, you see the small, fragile bones of an Elmirage lying inside. However, near its tiny rabbit head lies the golden spiral of a Elmirage horn.
She would, after looking at the others, making sure that this was okay, she would pick it up.
All right. As you grab hold of the horn and raise it up, streamers of light begin to emanate from the tip of the horn, bursting out of it like a fountain of light. And they begin to swirl around you, completely engulfing you, moving in clockwise and counterclockwise, up and down, rotating around you. And they begin to form a spectral rabbit with a single horn on its brow. In front of you, as they form this light rabbit, you hear a female voice in your mind. Quick, let me in. We must stop Serac. And I need you, Brilinya, to make a charisma saving throw.
Can she fail it?
You absolutely
purpose?
Can choose to fail it.
She absolutely does.
You all watch as this spectral rabbit made of light leaps towards Brilinya and seems to just into her chest. And you, oh, this ought to be interesting. Vale, who is currently inhabiting you?
I believe it's Obalaka.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know.
So, Brilinya, you feel as this spirit enters into you, this sort of just slight shift. You feel as though you now have a spectral passenger in the back of your mind. You hear the voice of Ijin in your mind. Oh, I'm so glad that you have let me in. We can work together to stop Serac. He must be stopped. But there's a rapidly shifting, like this mind seems not to be locked into one particular plan. You sense that at a moment's notice, it could shift. You now have an inherited flaw. I never stick to a plan. And your dexterity score is now 23. So you can go ahead and make that adjustment in your character sheet, which will modify all your other stats that are dexterity based. So that should give you what is that, like a +6 or something like that? I think it's +6.
Yes, +6.
Yeah. However, there is a sudden tenseness. If you've ever seen a rabbit that's startled, not yet enough to move, but just suddenly stops what it's doing, it tenses up as you turn and look at Vale. Vale, with eyes not his own, seems to be glaring at you. There is between the two of you a built-in animosity now, as Ijin and Obalaka are opposing spirits of the trickster gods. So keep that in mind. That's going to be primarily a role play thing, and I may call for certain roles depending on how you guys proceed. All right. For all intents and purposes, I suppose you want to know what you have found. What the spiral horn does. Well, let me tell you. Megan, I need you to go into your character sheet, manage equipment, and search for a Wand of Wonder. And while you are doing that and adding that to your stuff, I will just say, because we have a precedent in this campaign that once you achieve an item like this, that you are considered automatically able to attune to it. I'm just going to tell you what it does, because this is one of the cooler things in the game. I think I've only seen it used once, but the Wand of Wonder has 7 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend one of its charges and choose a target within 120 feet of you. The target can be a creature, an object, or a point in space. When you do so, you will roll a D100 and consult the table below. If the effect causes you to cast a spell from the wand, the spell's save DC is 15. If the spell normally has a range expressed in feet, it becomes 120 feet if it isn't already. If an effect covers an area, you must center the spell on and include the target. If an effect has multiple possible subjects, the GM randomly determines which ones are affected. It regains 1d6 plus 1 expended charges daily at dawn, and if you expend its last charge, roll a d20 on a 1, the wand crumbles into dust and is destroyed. And there is a very long d100 chart full of possible results when you cast spells from the Wand of Wonder. I'm just going to randomly grab one and see what it does. A cloud of 600 oversized butterflies fills a 30-foot radius centered on the target. The area becomes heavily obscured, and the butterflies remain for 10 minutes. So, that's just one of numerous possibilities on this.
So basically, it's a wand of wild magic surge that never affects you.
Pretty much. So,
oh boy.
The Staff of the Python, you need to double check, I think can only be attuned by a warlock. But
it just says a spellcaster.
For the Staff of the Python?
For the Wand of Wonder.
Right, the Wand of Wonder can be anybody. You were saying something about having to unattune something.
Yes, I have to unattune to something, and the Staff of the Python can be only attuned by a cleric, a druid, or a warlock.
Okay, well, you figure out how you want to reattune or unattune, and if you distribute anything, just make sure that it's annotated on the appropriate character sheet. But there you go. You now have the side passenger of Ijin, the El Mirage. And you are in this room with the sphinxes, the permanent, the ever-burning torches, the very heavy and expensive gold sarcophagus, the barge, the dais, and the currently deactivated trap, though you don't know how long for. And there are no other exits in this room, except, well, I take that back. There is one previously used exit, straight up. What would you like to do? At this point, for the sake of sanity, because you guys don't have the wonderful map in front of you that I have, with this room being a dead end, you could backtrack all the way back to the T intersection and through the water curtain, unless you wish to explore any of the crawlways that are first to the north of the water curtain room, and then there's another one to the south of the water curtain room. Other than that, there are no other path. I take that back. I neglected to mention that in this little tiny 5-foot by 10-foot area where the stone opened into the sarcophagus room, there is another crawlway on the north wall. So you do have a total of 3 crawlways to investigate, if you choose to. Otherwise, you can backtrack to the T intersection, where, surprise, there's another crawlway if you wanted to investigate it. So there are 4 possible crawlways. Or do you want to go? What do you want to do is what I want to say.
How big are the crawlways? Like, I know you said Qualu wouldn't fit.
They are small. Well, Qualu would fit. It would just be a very tight fit for him. These are basically like they're crawlways. They're smaller than 5 feet. You have to be able to get down on your hands and knees, crawl through them, slither through them, whatever. In fact, they're the same as the passages that were detected through Brilinya's. I can't remember what the ghostly vision or whatever. Ghost gaze.
Yeah.
Her invocation that you saw through which the wine trap. The wine would have traveled through those in that case. These ones are all at floor level.
I'm up for just going back to, I guess, the balcony area and going to the other side, or where we haven't gone yet.
There's one to the west, east.
Indeed.
Right.
Yes.
No. I'm going to echo that. No. In the chat. I was responding verbally to chat. To Connor. All right, so you guys want to go back to the T intersection and then out to the balcony, exploring none of the crawlways. Okay. Fair enough. So yeah, no problem. You already know you need the tridents to pass through the water, and you can do so easily. And you go all the way back to the balcony area, and you want to head all the way around to that westward facing passage. So that will take us to... Get rid of that. Thank you again. I didn't mention them at the beginning, but thank you again to D&D Beyond for granting us insider access. I have multiple tabs of D&D Beyond open right now, navigating all of these areas. So that area. Okay. So you see that about 15 feet in, there are two hulking figures standing in alcoves along this long hall facing each other. Armor is bolted to their flesh, and they wear bucket helms and spiked gauntlets. Iron collars around their necks are connected by a spiked chain that stretches across the corridor. These are Tomb Guardians, which you have already faced a couple of times. How would you like to
Remember
proceed?
when spiked chain was a weapon?
Yep.
Remember that? Really good old, that? Be like, don't mind me. I just have a length of chain that has all pointy bits all over it. Do they appear to? So they appear just to be what? Just standing, or they looks like they're on some type of patrol?
They're just standing facing one another in the alcove with this spiked chain stretching 10 feet between them, connecting them.
That's odd.
And that, because of their height, the spiked chain probably sits at about 8 feet. Beyond them, the passage does continue for about 35 feet. But about 15 feet beyond them, you do see another passage going to the north. And at the end of this passage is a set of double doors.
How do we get past them?
We could strike them down.
I suppose. I mean, maybe.
Of course, what kind of philosophy did you expect from a creature such as I? I wield a stick. I had once a sharp stick, but now that is a blunt stick.
Oh, that's very true. That sounds
I do
very.
not know why you think me as a thinker. I do not ponder these things very often.
So the whole stick thing just seems very metaphorical. So I have an idea, and I'm going to see if I can find a small piece of wall, tiny little pebble or something, or some sort of a rock.
There are not any debris on this level. The only loose objects, other than something you might find in your own possessions, is the purple fungus.
All right, well, that's not going to work. Yeah, I'm going to...
What about a coin?
That might work. Hang on a minute. I've got some bits. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, I'm gonna grab a piton, as I'm sure I have that in my explorer's backpack, my explorer's gear. And if not, hell, I'll even use. Actually, better yet, I'm gonna use a spoon from my mess kit, because honestly, when was the last time we ever used that thing? Anyway,
well,
so
that's good that you changed it up, because I don't believe the Explorer's Kit has the pitons. I think that's
they're
Dungeoneer's pack.
Yeah, that'd be Dungeoneer's pack. So I'm gonna grab the spoon out of my KFS. Yeah, you're welcome. And realize that no matter how much I wash it, it never really gets clean.
What? Is that Kit Field Service?
No, KFS just literally stands for knife, fork, spoon.
Oh,
and it's
we just
all
call
like
them. We literally just call them mess kits.
Oh, well, we have. It's a long time ago, but
is there a P38?
What's that?
Is there a P38?
What was that?
Never mind. I'll tell you later.
Okay. I was gonna say, if that's that stupid metal fucking like thing that
the can opener.
Oh no!
The thumb operated can opener.
No, we never had that.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm gonna take the spoon out of the knife, fork, spoon, and stealthily I'm gonna throw it down the hallway, just past them, and see if they even move.
I'm gonna stealthily throw a metal object down the hallway.
It's a spoon. It's light.
Okay. Well, you do so. And it makes the sound of a spoon clattering across metal floor. I would like you to roll. I want you to make a dexterity-based attack roll.
Well, I can just about do that. Speaking like an improvise, so just dex bonus plus d20.
Yeah, there's no proficiency with spoon.
You don't know that. I'll go to a Baskin Robbins with you. I'll show you. All right, so that's a 23.
Okay. Yeah, it clatters down the hall and sort of skitters, bounces across the stone tiles. They do not react in any way.
Do you think maybe they're dead? Well, no, yeah.
What is life and what is death when we speak of things do not walk or breathe or have flesh?
I'm gonna stop looking at him right away and turn around and look at either Brill or Taliel or like the stone wall, something to give me a better answer. Do you think that dead?
The suggestions don't really make any sense here. The ones we have left are right the gods and the walls of history tell all.
I'm not sure if these guys are dead or if they're just not activated by sound. They may need to sense a person.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I'm quick. I could run past them.
But
But
if you get caught, you're going to be in a world of hurt.
and you guys would have to take them out real fast.
Yeah. I mean, I could try and sneak up to him. See what that does.
I could make them very tiny.
Well, that works.
Well,
as a matter of fact,
make them half their size.
Well, you got new, you got a new fancy thing. Why don't you try and,
I'm just going to go on the record and say I fully support this idea, but don't let that influence your decision.
Just making tiny little golems.
No, using the wand of wonder on them that Vale's suggesting.
I mean, you have it. Maybe it'll.
Although I do support tiny tomb guardians as well.
Pocket golems.
I mean, yeah, sure. I'm not sure what this really does. It could do any number of things.
Well, I mean, it's all got to be beneficial, right? I mean, it's not like something horrible will go wrong. Not that I'm foreshadowing anything or anything.
Well, there are 4 of us. Of course there's going to be 4 shadows. But you are not casting 4 shadows. No, there's only 1 shadow that you have.
We already killed my shadow.
Oh, because I have a headache.
All right, yeah, let's just do it. Or I mean, we could do something else. Like,
oh, go on. You know you want to try it.
Yeah, all right.
My magic is very powerful and could help in this instance. Says Ejon in your head.
Brilinya nods, trusting.
Trusting the disembodied voice in your head. Perfect.
I mean, that's what I do in real life, so you know what? It's worked thus far.
So what is your target then with the Wand of Wonder?
The left golem.
All right.
You should target the chain.
Just gonna target the golem.
All right.
You're
no fun.
So as you use the wand and point it at the left golem, and the magical effect begins to erupt, roll a D100. At the same time, you hear in your head, wait. But go ahead and roll the D100.
Okay. That is a 28.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
So describe what happens. Keep in mind, well, you aimed at the target, so it doesn't matter that it did have a range of 120 feet. But yeah, what happens?
Immediately, Brilinya, she casts this. She uses this wand the best way she can, channeling all her energy, and you see these sparks immediately fly off, and this ball of energy, and it looks very fantastic, and like it's going to do something. But as soon as it gets and hits the golem, this yellow sphere of gas begins to emit from this ball of energy. As she casts Stinking Cloud on this golem.
And I like to imagine as it appears, it manifests going... and the entire area is heavily obscured by this fog.
Are they immune to poison?
There is no reaction whatsoever that you can see. They're completely obscured, but you don't hear anything. And unless would anybody react to this in any way? The stinking cloud does not reach you. You get very faint hints of something noxious in the air, but not enough to affect you.
I'll lose say something along the lines of like, that was your idea?
It wasn't my idea, it was Vale's idea.
Oh yes, this definitely seems like one of Vale's ideas. You're right. This was a very bad idea. Vale should feel bad for himself for thinking that this was a proper course of action to deal with.
I thought it turns something into something else, so you I don't know, melt them or electrify them or I mean, that was it? You made a wretched stink?
As you guys are talking about
you didn't
it,
need Brilinya to do that. You could have just asked me.
as you're talking about it, the cloud begins to disperse. And after a full minute has passed, the cloud is no longer obscuring the area. But as the cloud is dispersing, you also see the spiked chain sort of, you hear that sort of distinctive sound of a rattling chain. And then you hear the sound of metal screeching against metal. The chain momentarily goes slack as each of the golems steps forward. As they look to the side and their eyes lock on the four of you. And I would like you all to roll for initiative. Next week, when we return with the next session of Chult of Personality. You had to know that was coming up. It's already 11 o'clock. I'm not going to start a new combat now.
One could have hoped.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed, though. You guys made it through a good section of this dungeon. You solved a couple of puzzles. You found 3 eye spheres of crystal that you have no idea what they do. And Brilinya finally got the Elmirage treasure that she was after. So yeah, when we return in our next session, you will start off facing against these 2 tomb guardians that are blocking your passage down this hall. And we'll see what else you can discover on this 3rd level of the Tomb of Annihilation. All right. Well, thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight at various times or is watching at a later time. Thank you for the people who followed and subscribed during this time. And of course, thank you to Mike, Kaeryn, Megan, and Connor for being the awesome players that you are. I just realized I never turned off the hieroglyphic floor. We'll get that out of there now. But yeah, thank you everybody. And those of you still in the chat, I'm glad you enjoyed it. And of course, we love seeing you guys in there interacting. And I love seeing all your jokes and stuff. I think at one point, Cajun Kevin said when the question of whether or not I called Qualu fat came up, and you said you were 4 foot tall. I think he said something along the lines of, you're just taller lying down. You're not fat. So yeah, thank you everybody. I'm glad to be playing again. It's good to be playing again. Of course, with the Christmas holiday coming up, we'll probably only get another couple sessions in, schedules permitting, so we kind of play it by ear. But if you're ever unsure whether or not there's going to be a game, be sure to follow us on Twitter. Follow at MTDJake on Twitter, and I try to keep people up to date on whether or not we're playing each night. Stay tuned, in fact, to find out if we will be playing another session of All That Glitters tomorrow night here on the channel. Tuesday night is Legends and Legacies, with Kaeryn is a part of that. I should mention that the All That Glitters is DM'd by Mike and also features myself and Megan as players. And then this Wednesday is not, I don't even know what day of the week it is not a Spire. No.
It is.
It is a Spire game. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's the second Wednesday. So yes, this Wednesday will be Spire. The City Must Fall, DM'd by Connor and produced by Megan, but appearing here on Mini Terrain Domain. And then if you don't get enough of Megan between today and possibly tomorrow and Wednesday, tune in on Thursday for the Dawnbringers with myself and Megan and a few other wonderful players. So lots of great stuff going on here. Oh, and I should mention also on Friday will be the return of Alan's CFT RPG Curse of Strahd game that he runs every Friday night here on Mini Terrain Domain at 10 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to follow the channel, tune in for all that great stuff. Hit that little bell icon up here, and you'll be notified whenever the streams go live. With that said, thank you everybody for tuning in. We are going to go ahead and end the stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.